Welcome back to Resonating Through Art. This time we'll be exploring pigment migration through one of my favorite kinds of projects, geodes. These are relatively small, shallow pores that offer a wide variety of results depending not only on the colors used, but even in how they are applied. In this lesson, I'll be demonstrating the same colors poured in 3 different methods. I'll be using general epoxy, which works great for these shallow pores. You can use any variety you wish for pigments. My selection for this demonstration is Pearl White Mica Powder made by Pearl X, No-Con Blue Mica Powder made by Eye Candy, and Pool Alcohol Ink by Ranger. Let's get started. First, we measure out our 1-to-1 ratio of resin. We need 100 mils for each geomold. 50 milliliters of hardener first, then 50 milliliters of resin. Finally, mix. For these pours, we'll need 3 different colors separated out into cups. The volumes can vary depending upon the look you want. Remember to reserve some clear. Using a cleaned off scoop, add some of the first mica powder to the first cup. Keep in mind that the more you add, the thicker the concentration and the greater the migration factor. This applies to the second mica powder as well. You may want one color to overtake the other. This is my case with the blue. I want this one to dominate, so I will add more. For alcohol inks, add drops until the desired color. A word of caution with inks: if you add too much, it affects the curing, so be careful. Mix thoroughly but slowly. Make certain that the mica powder has gone into solution or chunks may fall out, unless you want that effect, which can be neat looking. You can allow the resin to sit for a short while to thicken, which will limit the migration, or pour right away when it is thinner for more. Be careful not to let it flash cure if you decide to wait. For this first geode, I'm doing a standard ring pour with a center push. Take the color you want closest to the rim and pour it slowly around the edge. Next, take another color and run it along the inside. In this case, I'm using the ink. I want it to pick up the mica powder and spread it. Then, another color. Keep alternating. If the center fills in, you can keep adding to the center and it will push outward. This is actually the action we're looking for. Just wait, it looks really cool. Adding more rings on top allows the pigments to drop through for different looks. fill till all the colors are used up, then remember that reserved clear, center it, and raise the cup. The gravity will punch through to the bottom. The higher it is, the more force. We'll come back to this in a bit. The next geode is a simple ring pour starting with a clear center. I pour just enough to form a basic center point. Once again, take the colors and run them in rings, but around the center this time, gradually going outwards. If colors fill in, you can push them back outward by adding more of the original color. Have fun with it. This style of pour will migrate less, but what you put next to each other will affect how it spreads. This is a great way to learn the weights and densities of your pigments. This time, to top off the clear, I am leaving it close to the geode. I don't want the push. I also add some over the outer edge to dilute it. A lesson in fluid dynamics. The last one is my favorite, Dragonscale. Start with the ink. You can also just use clear. Pour it in the center enough to spread. Between inked and clear, you will need this 3 times. Make sure you have enough. Next, pour a little over half of the first color pigment dead in the center. Keep low at this point. It's going to push out over the first. You want that. Take your second pigment and pour just over half in the center, same as the first color. Now pour some of the clear and let it push the center a bit, preferably enough to just see the bottom of the mold. Back to the first pigment, pour all of it in the center. Note, you can alternate the colors here. It does change the outcome. Go ahead and try it. Then the last of the second pigment. The final step is to push the center with the rest of the clear. Higher is better. To finish, spritz with 91% isopropyl alcohol to pop the bubbles. The heat gun might shift the pigments. You don't want that. It could distort the centers. Now let them sit to migrate. What you see isn't what you get. A couple hours later, these have migrated and thickened. See how the centers pulled inward? The other side has done some pretty neat stuff too. But it's into the heat chamber overnight now. If you don't have one, no worries. As long as the room temp is stable in the cure range, benchtop cures are just fine with these. When fully click cured, demold. Here is the first one, the ring pour, starting at the outside and working inward with the final push. Next, we have the center outward pour without the push. See how the rings are more defined? And last, the Dragonscale. See the more pronounced cells that form? That's where mica powder sunk into the veins of thinner resin. This will differ every time you do it, kinda like magic. You can pick which side you'd like best, up or down. At the end, it ends up being what you like that you displayed. You can stop here and enjoy them as is, or you can take it a step farther with some acrylic paint and use them as canvases. Select your side. With the top facing you, use a sharp object to scratch in the outline. Don't worry, more resin will fill in and erase the scratches when you top coat. Once you have the outline, fill it in with paint, like white for a solid colored base, or darker if you're looking for a darker painting. Allow to dry. Then you can transfer the details onto the base coat. Hover your pencil over the edge of the point. Keep the pencil in place. Move the paper sketch out of the way. Mark it. Make enough dots to connect. Do this until you have the complete image transferred. Now you have your image to paint in the lines. By the magic of fast forward, done. Once the paint is dry, the next secret is to use liquid latex to protect the back from dripping during the top coat. No mixing, but this stuff is messy. Turn the project over, face side down. Pour a bit of the liquid latex and spread it around the edges. It needs to be thicker there. Push it right up to the edges. The center is not as critical. Allow to dry until it is clear. For this next step, I'll be using tumbler epoxy. The thicker formula means it doesn't run over the edge as much. Inside a silicone or wax paper lined tray, raise the geode up on something. Spray paint caps work great for this. You want to leave room to let the drips fall. Pour a decent amount a short distance from the edge. Carefully work the resin all the way around the edges. It's okay if it goes over. Make sure you have it fully coated and that there is no dust or bubbles. Once again, spray with alcohol. Once fully cured, use your finger to rub the latex on the back. It will roll as you do. Any drips will snap right off. A lot simpler than sanding them. Again, you can stop here if you wish. I like to coat my geode sides in a faux stone finish. Liquitex sandstone works great, but you can use any texturizer. Just brush it on all the way around the edges. Let it harden into a clear textured coat. Paint the texture all the way around with your desired color. This time on the texture, it will stick. There's no sealing required, unlike the top of the geodes. Now enjoy your new work and go make some more. Hope you'll join me again.